Okay, hold on. We'll play at the same time.
All right, welcome to the Boos and the Bees.
Yeah.
I'm Ella Boo, the queen bee.
And I'm Jeff the Boo.
Nice.
Yeah, Jeff the Boo.
And you're listening to our podcast. And yes, we're a couple.
Should I say it like French? Like, I'm Jeff le Boo.
I love that. Jeff le Boo.
Jeff le Boo.
Jeff le Boo.
You think we're like going to get canceled by the entire country of France now?
No, I saw this TikTok that French people are mean.
Yeah.
And that they're mean to anybody, like, if you're not French. Even if you are French, I heard they're mean to you. Like, they're just, I heard this, like, video of this American girl crying because she did a solo trip to France. And she said it was, like, the worst decision because she was like, I just don't feel welcome here and stuff.
Yeah. I heard something where, you know, because I've experienced this a lot in Mexico. If you try to speak Spanish, they're like, they try, you know, and they like you, you know, they're like, whatever.
Yeah, I've noticed that too
here.
on TikTok. I'll try to say something, they'll be like, oh my gosh, that's so
like,
good. They're
try.
like so happy.
They're excited.
Yeah.
And I hear if you speak, like, you could be fluent in French, but you might be from, like, you know, the Swiss Alps, and you speak French from there, and it's like, you're not from our dialect of French, so you're basically worthless.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, like, I'm fluent French, I know every word, and they're like, but you're not one of us.
You're not one of us, so
get out
trash.
of here.
Yeah, I've been to France, but I've only been to Paris Disney a few times.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're different. It's Disney, right? They're like,
and I don't really remember. I was so young. Really,
yeah.
it felt like Disneyland. Yeah, so it was just different vibe for sure.
Yeah.
Like, I never got to see the Eiffel Tower, which I also heard is not exciting to go see in person because it's like, apparently it's like always like there's construction around it and it's crowded and it's just like not pretty. I guess there's like graffiti everywhere. And you picture it to being this whole romantic thing.
it's just like there's like one angle you can take a picture, but everyone wants the
Probably,
picture,
yeah.
so you have to like wait there for 2 hours for people to get out of the way and then like actually take it.
Yeah.
No, I could imagine. I mean, it's like a big hunk of steel. I mean, who cares, right?
I mean, it's still cool. I remember seeing the Leaning Tower of Pisa. That was really cool. And that was crowded.
But that was made, I mean, thousands of years ago. Like, that's impressive.
Oh, is the Eiffel Tower not?
It was made when we had like cool metal stuff, so it's like way newer.
Yeah, I've seen cool old shit. I've seen Stonehenge? Henge?
Yeah.
Stonehenge. And the Colosseum. I've seen some cool stuff. I wish I really had videos of it back then. That's why I'm glad that we're recording our life now, you know?
No, we have crazy cool equipment for it.
We really do. And then back to the I don't remember. We were talking about France and it reminded me of this. Oh, accents. There's this TikTok girl that I really should be saving videos so that I can like actually say the names and stuff. But she's like multi-million follower on TikTok. Apparently she's been creating for over 12 years. But she used to do this thing. She did like, I think they call it code switch. Have you ever heard of that? Where she was faking an American accent for years, and she's actually like Indian. So she has an Indian accent. So she started letting it come out naturally these past year or a few years. And people are calling her out, saying she's making fun of Indians and their accents and trying to like say that she's putting up a front or she's like all this negative stuff about her. But then there's also all these good comments saying like it's a thing that people do. Like, I guess if you have an accent, you're used to putting on your white people quote unquote voice.
I mean, that's to say something like white people voice is just absolutely ignorant.
That was like the top comment.
It's so ridiculous. Okay, so all people from Finland, France, Germany, England, and the U.S. in the South and the North and the East and the West all have the same accent.
I think they mean like corporate voice, maybe.
But corporate voice doesn't mean white voice, though.
No,
like,
I
that's
know.
where it becomes super ignorant.
I'm not saying the creator said that. That was a comment.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like they said that they would make the accent to just like sound more, I guess, professional or fit in. Or I really didn't listen to her whole story. I'm not a good news reporter.
That. So like, hear me out. If you're any nationality of person and you're born in America and you lived in Texas forever, are you going to have a New York accent? No. If you're Indian, are you going to have an Indian accent? Probably not. You're from Texas if your parents were also from Texas. You know, if you're second generation.
They would probably have the accent, though, the parents, I would assume.
Maybe if they're first generation. But let's say you're second generation. I'm second generation, right? I don't have any Celtic accent. I don't have a Polish accent. I'm second generation. My grandparents, were first. They came off a boat. My parents lived here. I lived here.
Okay, but what are you getting getting
I'm
to.
saying, like, if someone's American, you're American. And so for anyone to come in and be like, oh, I was hiding my accent forever, and you probably get a bunch of people who've never had an accent defending them with their,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, it's like a bunch of people just virtue signaling. It's like, you literally, if you spoke your whole life with an accent from where you live, that's just your dialect. That has nothing to do. It's like, oh, I had to hide who I was. That's just where you're from. If we stayed in Texas long enough, we would start to have a twang.
I pick up accents, but
Everybody
I also,
does.
I can't like judge people's own life experience. Like I can't say like, oh, there was no reason for you to do this and then do
No.
this. Like
I'm not saying that their accent isn't like, maybe they really did have an Indian accent and maybe they're good at accents. Like maybe you're an Australian and you have a good American accent and you play that in the movies every time. Welcome to some Marvel characters, right? To put on an accent.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, to put on an accent that's like a talent some people have and not many do. So to say like everyone is putting on this front, if you live in a place long
No one
enough
said
and you pick it up,
everyone's putting a front.
that's literally what the comments you were saying were saying.
Oh, that she was putting up a front.
Yeah, and then a bunch of people were supporting her saying like everybody's doing that. And I'm saying they're not. I'm saying if you have the talent to literally change your accent completely from your heritage, you're completely lying, or you should be paid to be an actor. And if you are very good with your accent, it just means you have a dialect that's very similar to where you live, which doesn't mean it's corporate voice. It just means that's where you live. If you were in England, you would have an English accent. And that's just meaning you're trying to fit in with your local community.
Well,
and
I lived in
wouldn't you
England
want
for 5
to?
years. I didn't have a British
Yeah,
accent.
how old are you?
I was young.
Yeah, so you're learning words.
But
I mean,
my brother started picking up like British like slang and stuff, but he went to a British school. I didn't.
yeah, well, there you go. You become your surrounding, and there's like nothing insulting about sounding like your surrounding. And when people put on that, oh, you're from India and you need to have an Indian accent or you should embrace it, it's like, just care about your community regardless of their accent. Like, let's start there. Like, let's be good to people around us no matter how they sound. And obviously, if they have an accent, be like, well, they speak 2 languages. You probably don't if you're in America. So, like, they're smarter than you in that regard.
Yeah.
You know, respect it. But if they speak very much like you, that must have either they put in the time or they put in the effort or both. And that's good. Why wouldn't you want to fit in with the people around you? If I'm in Texas, I'm going to have a Texas twang. If I'm in New York, I'm going to have some slang. I'm going to drop the R's on everything I say. It's not like you're being washed into a new society that's bad. If you really think the society that you're surrounded by is bad, you shouldn't have moved there. You know, the fact that you live there just speaks volumes that you like the culture, and that's respectable. Like, it should be respectable. And it's not an insult to pick up. It's like, that should be like a badge of honor, that it's like, my community is so strong. Like, we all talk the same. We all have the same slang. It's like an inside joke, you know? It's like there's certain, like, remember that guy was like, yeah, we say yizerp in Brooklyn. And I was like, you know, that it makes you feel like part of this group of people, you know? And that should make you feel proud. Why wouldn't you want to be proud of the people you're surrounded by? You chose to live there. Go live in Arkansas and then get an Arkansas accent, you know? It's like, whatever. Have fun. I don't like when people try to make everything about race. It's not about race, especially in America. This is the one place you should just be with your neighbors and love each other and help each other.
Well, it should
out.
be, but now everything is like about race.
And the
like
worst
and
part,
like the weird stuff is now like like people care about the weird things now instead of what they should actually care about, about a person and stuff.
They care about like the minority things that don't define a person. Like, you're not defined by your race. You're not defined by where your grandparents came from. You're defined by your actions in this life. And we're trying to make everyone be put into the camps of things that are uncontrollable.
Sometimes I
don't
feel
like
like
that.
you're giving them lectures.
Maybe.
Just sometimes your tone comes off as like, no, this is what we're supposed to be doing.
Well, maybe. I agree. I'm passionate about that. I really think people need to be judged by their actions in this life, not by things you can't control. I just get real
I do
annoyed.
too. I
get real
definitely
annoyed
do.
at people.
Well, we can't get annoyed and like let it
Yeah.
affect you in that way. We just have to
Yeah.
be more receptive with people and be like, no, like this is how we should be. Because I don't speak up really. I see it a lot where it's like, you know, God, it's hard to talk about these topics sometimes. I don't like talking about race stuff.
So, I mean, we can skip it.
Should we skip it? I don't know our time. Should we? Should we? I don't know. I don't like, I get nervous talking about certain stuff because it's like, I don't want that to define someone to like our content and like us as creators and enjoy us and like really enjoy our company and our positivity and all that. And it's like, if I say something, I don't want to like now offend half of my viewers because maybe they don't even understand what I'm saying like correctly, or even if you don't agree with one little thing, then that's something that happens a lot. And then you just like totally like
polarize.
Stop that. Yeah, you stop liking that person completely. And
I think what we should do is like maybe we just end it on the positive note, because like we really are a channel of people who just want to help others be their best self. And it's not being your best self if you're online, even if you're trying to support someone who's a minority. Like you're not helping. To help would be to support people who are actually in your community and helping out. And like not to make everything about race and not to make everything about religion, and just to live your life the best you can and to support others for living the best life they can.
But I wish we could still freely talk about that stuff.
We can.
You know?
I think we did in a way it's positive enough to where if we're actually offending someone, we do not want them to be in our audience. To say that you should care about someone for the content of their character, not the color of their skin, if you're really going to be upset about that, then we don't want you here in our audience. And also, you shouldn't be taking MLK Day off. Just throwing that out there, because that was literally his quote. So I think pretty much we don't want anyone who doesn't agree with that.
No, definitely.
So I think as long as we keep our stuff polarized within the lens of acceptance and to look beyond it, then we're okay. I think we can. I think we'll use that as our opinion. I don't even think we have any other opinions besides that, really, like specifically. I mean, maybe we have a couple cultural things, but yeah, that's more politics in like other countries. Like we're just talking about Americans here, and like that's it, right? Like, let's just love each other here.
Yeah.
I guess we were talking about French people, but we don't know French people.
I have lived overseas. I do like talking about Europe and stuff.
Yeah, your experiences.
My experiences. Yeah.
And that's the thing too. You can talk about your experiences with something, because that way you're not polarizing. You're like, this is what I experienced. It's a fact. You cannot say this was not my experience. Like you can't say this is my experience and so this is all experience and it's correct, but you can say this was how I perceived my time there. Or
I don't know why this conversation is making me think of theater and how senior year is when it was sucked because I stopped loving it because every year you do this one act performance and it's like the big award performance you do for theaters shows. And you know, it's my senior year, and usually when you're a senior, it's like that's when you can get like big roles, and it's like your big chance to like really be seen and stuff at the end of the year. And my theater teacher picked a play that was like revolved around race, and so your race mattered in the role. There was no role for a colored female.
Yeah, so that's ridiculous.
It was all like, because it was part of the story. Like the story was about a colored man, like in around white people. So it was like relevant to the story for how you looked. But like, why pick that for a high school play?
That's so ridiculous.
And then I didn't get to do it. And then at first he like gave all the other students like who couldn't be in it, you know, like we were just like watching. And then we were like, well, this is lame to be in theater class and watching. So then they gave us this like side play that like
he should have been fired for that. That's ridiculous.
I know. I was only a senior, so I definitely didn't stand up for myself.
Yeah, that is absolutely ridiculous.
I know.
And that's the whole point why you can't be like, oh yeah, but this person had an accent and then they were like hiding it because you lived in a place without an accent.
But it's like ironic that he probably picked that play too to like tell a story for a colored man. But it's like if you're trying to like do that and be like, oh, we're trying to be cool and like show off this story, like maybe let everybody allowed to be in the play and make it fair.
Make it like,
because like life was unfair for us. We don't want it to keep being unfair.
Yeah.
know.
Watch the volume. We're gonna blow it up. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. You're excited. I love that.
Yeah.
No, that's absolutely true. It's a high school play. Like, I get you want to make a point, but that's the problem. When you make everything about race, you're going to polarize people by race. And so literally what you are trying to destroy and dismantle, you are building a bigger wall about.
Yeah.
That's horrible. We want everyone to have a shake. That's
Definitely.
the point. We need to make news stories where you cast everyone and you don't talk about it.
Yeah, like when The Little Mermaid happened, that was so
cool.
insane.
It was
No,
good.
the bad comments.
The comments. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Oh, the
Little
comments I would see on Facebook, and they were all negative, all the top ones.
They're fish people in the ocean, so jot that down. And two, they had a sister of every nationality as far as I'm concerned, right? Like, you know,
Right.
to be representative of anybody, right?
It just
Cool.
is so silly. I played Ariel in The Little Mermaid when I was a kid.
Great.
It was awesome.
It's a fish person. Now, and once you get to like Hollywood films or whatever, and you want to tell a deep story, yeah, you know, maybe probably cast people from the country. You know, that would make sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
If I was casting Vikings, I'd want to get someone from a Viking country. You know, that'd be cool.
Yeah, if it's about like a story about Africans or something.
Yeah,
like,
I wouldn't want to
yeah.
paint some dude's face a different color.
Because
I
they've
want it
done
to
that,
just be
right,
there.
in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah, tons of times. That's like been a big issue. You know, but that's when you've got big budget. You're very selective over your actors. Like, you can really choose exactly what you want to be in your film and the story you want to tell, and people get to choose if they watched or not.
And it's so
in high
sad,
school,
like-
that's not it. It's just this is the play, and you're forced to be in it or not.
Yeah.
And that's really lame.
And it's so sad that so many little girls didn't get to watch that Little Mermaid movie, all because their parents were like just so ignorant.
That's why we need to just. And the worst part is probably there were so many people not watching movies because it had something to do with race, and they were trying to support that race, and they didn't let their kids go see it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you might have supported these type of actors, but then maybe you thought they didn't get paid the same for some reason, and then you didn't let them go. It's like, stop talking about race. People get
Yeah.
paid differently. They have been forever. If you try to make it a race thing, maybe now your kids gets to suffer.
Yeah.
And you're teaching the next generation that literally everything revolves around it, and that sucks. That's
Yeah.
just not how life
Yeah,
goes.
because I grew up overseas, military-based schools, and I don't remember ever thinking about race. Ever.
Yeah. No.
Don't ever
Which is
remember that.
the craziest thing, though, because like most countries are more racially like singular than America, right? Canada
Yeah,
and
but,
America
like,
are the most diverse.
We were at a really small Air Force base, like
Yeah.
95 kids in a class. We're all different from everywhere. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it was like,
Yeah, because you have that American culture around you, though, because you're patriots. You're like, you're in a base. You're in with people from the United States, so you have United States diversity culture in another country. But like, if you go to China, they're Chinese, all of them. You know, you might see some tourists, but they're all Chinese. You do a nationality test of anyone from China, it's like 99% Chinese every single
I
time.
can't wait to do a test for me. Oh, and we
Yeah.
can like record it. It would be a whole
That'll
video.
be neat, yeah.
Because I don't know half my nationality.
So I think that would be cool. So let's get off the race topic and jump into that topic, which is also a race topic, but kind of neat. Did you hear some people are worried about the genetic testing because they think people are going to take your genetic code and use it for marketing in the future?
Yeah, I believe that. I believe people are
I do
scared
too.
of that.
I believe it's. I
Do you
I
believe
don't
it's?
only
Do you believe it's true?
I like know it's going to happen. Like, a fact.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the other caveat. Do you think that's bad?
I was about to say I don't really care.
I don't either. Like, what are they going to do? Right?
Exactly.
Because if they were going to do anything horrible and like malicious, like, you could do it other ways. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. And just like the whole like people don't trust Facebook and stuff. Like, look, you do your own thing, no judgment.
Go
But
for it. Like, they know everything about you.
they do.
But is that bad? I want to know exactly what I want to buy. I want things. I live in a
it is
society where I
it
can
is a little
purchase goods for
scary.
money.
It is a little scary. I was thinking about this morning, how scary AI is getting and how good it's all.
Oh, yeah, that's nuts.
It's kind of scary being in this time.
Oh, it's kind of scary being in every time. I mean, there was a time when Mongols would just raid your village. You know, it's like everything's been horrifying for humans forever. We should all be like Oreo technically, but we're not. Oreo's our cat. She's very anxious.
She's anxious of everything,
Yeah.
of life. So that used to be me. I'm a lot better now. But
Yeah. So it's like you can
I
live
mean,
your
yeah,
life
you're
afraid
right,
of
you're
everything.
right.
It's like, but time marches on. And like, if we're all doomed, but we may as well. Like, that's why a lot of importance to enjoy the moment, but still like pretend tomorrow's going to come. Because if you're like,
I
oh,
don't-
tomorrow's not going to come and you're right, and it's like, cool. Well, then now you were right, but also doomed. So you may as well have like been trying to do something, you know, and then be doomed
Yeah.
anyway. Like,
I doomed myself sometimes at nighttime. I just like will think like, I think after that movie that we watched, what was it called?
that was the worst because that was like so real. It's like the asteroid
it
movie.
called?
What was it called? I don't remember.
Not an asteroid movie. It was about the end of the world.
Yeah, with the asteroid that hits the Earth. Don't Look Up.
What? No. The
Don't
one
Look
with the
Up with the
bombs where
meteor.
everyone starts killing each other. At the end, it's like the bombs.
Oh,
the atomic
I don't think you can
bombs.
use the K word
Oh.
on this because then like it'll come up on the auto flag maybe.
Dang it.
Yeah, it's okay. Well,
20 minutes.
20 minutes. And write it down. I mean,
Cut.
yeah. Not that we have to take it out. I just don't know if you can use it. But I mean, people slip a word here and there every once in a while. We'll just have to go for it. You know, let it ride.
Anyways.
But no, what was that one? It started weird and like the color grading was off, and then it just became a good movie after like the first 20 minutes.
Here, I'll look it up while we're talking about it because it's going to bother
well,
me.
there was one where it was like society knew the end of the world was coming, and then it like shut off all communication so no one could talk to each other, and then like everybody went mad. And I'm not going to spoil the ending for you, right? But it's like
Leave the world behind.
leave the world behind. But yeah, no, that's
I think
terrifying.
I already spoiled the ending.
Well,
But anyways, what my point was talking about that because I sometimes at night I'm like, what if I just start hearing atomic bombs going off?
and it could happen.
I know,
But,
it's so
like,
scary.
But here's the thing, like you can't control it.
I know,
right?
that's
And so
scarier.
it is, but I mean that's the world. I mean, people were just like that volcano could go off. That one right there,
I know.
It's going off.
I don't know how people live by volcanoes.
and then they did, and then it did, and then it happened. And
I
then
still
you're
don't
like,
get
no,
why
you didn't.
people live by volcanoes.
Because you have to live.
You have
You're
to live there.
You're on an island. Escape. It's like you're in the middle of
Swim
the
away,
ocean.
swim
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Then you get there, and then there's the Vikings again. You're like, oh God! I swam across the ocean.
Are
for this.
Vikings still around?
I mean, no, their descendants are. It's whole countries.
But they're not like Vikings. Like
No, they
Yeah.
don't wear hats and like go around on dragon ships anymore. It's a little outdated.
Well, I'm surprised, honestly.
Like maybe for fun. Do you think they do it for like fun?
They have to.
They have to do it for fun. I would do it for fun.
If you're like actual Viking descent,
Yeah. God, those are big people too.
I don't know if I've ever met one in person.
No, they're big people. Well, I mean, look, my brothers are related to them. They're giants. That's why they're so big. They're Viking descendants. I'm not.
Oh,
So my mom and my dad are different, right? So my dad hooked up with a Viking lady, and my mom hooked up with a Viking dude, and then
funny.
all my siblings are giants, and I'm not.
Wait, your mom only has 2 kids with your dad, right?
No.
Oh.
Mm-mm. All my siblings are half siblings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, she
I
had him with some
forgot
other
that.
guy.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. I have siblings I'm not at all related to.
Step siblings?
Yeah,
Yeah.
by relation, right? So it's like my
Yeah.
brother's sister is not my sister.
Oh. It took me a minute to click.
Yeah. My
I
brother's
see.
sister's not my sister. It's like a
Oh.
weird one.
Yeah, that's weird.
Both of his sisters and his brother.
That's
He's
funny.
got 3 other siblings I'm not at all related to.
Yeah, I guess I'd be like if my dad had a kid. No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then my brother would have a brother that's not related to me. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I have 3 half brothers, but I've only met one of them.
Yeah.
One day I will meet the other 2. And that's crazy to think. Like, we'll probably be like filming that and stuff.
Yeah, we would.
Film that journey. That'll be
Yeah.
an interesting one for sure.
You know, we just need to make sure their friends aren't there to steal our cameras. That would
Oh,
stink.
stop. Yeah, they'll come to us.
Yeah.
No, but that's cool. That's cool. I love learning about you every day.
Yeah, well, no, crazy stuff.
I forgot how we.
descendants.
Oh, I was like, I forgot how we got into this topic.
Oh, scary stuff, and people need to just march on, right?
Yeah.
Humans have always had really hard times. That's like, welcome to life. You know, life is horrifying. Live with it, right? That's all you can really do.
And don't compare yourself to other people's lives and journeys
No.
because they're at a different journey and point than you are. So you
Yep.
can't compare. We're all going through different journeys. We can't all go through the same journey.
And you can't control the outcome. You can only control your daily actions.
Yeah.
You really can't. Because, like, there's so many things that could happen to you tomorrow. Like, you could be doing all the right things, and then you get a disease, and it all changes, and your whole life outcome changes. And there's nothing you can do about that. And it's scary and sad, but you had two options. Either you didn't do anything because you might have gotten the disease, or you do everything you could in the hopes you don't get it, and then get it, or you do everything in the hopes you don't get it, and you don't get it, right? Those are the only options. And so the only option that yields good results is if you do the right stuff with the assumption nothing bad is going to happen. Because if you do nothing, you're going to have a horrible life. If you do something and then something bad happens, at least you know that you have that like internal fortitude to overcome the pain as much as you can. But if you never did anything and you got the disease, then you have no mental fortitude either, and you're doomed. So like you're double doomed.
Right.
So you may as well just do all the things anyway and just hope bad stuff doesn't happen. But it's scary. That's why like I was so upset. We were watching American Horror Story, and
Oh yeah, we have to finish that.
yeah, not the new one's so stinking.
It was really stinking.
The new one's
We
not
couldn't
that
finish
great.
it.
It was really hard to watch. But there was one that was about the end of the world, and there was like mutants and bunkers, and I was like, that was like probably the most scary one to me because that was the most real. Like that could totally happen. You're just on the couch with your friends, and then it ends. You're like, whoa, like that's so spooked. And I was,
And all the rich people like have their action plan.
and it would just because like there's nothing we could do to get there except for try our hardest to get rich in time, right? Like,
Right.
you know, that's all you can do. But people are trying to get rich anyway without a bunker, you know. So it's like, what can you do? But even with it, it's like, would you want to? And it's like a whole.
Yeah.
That's why I was so scared. There's so much that goes into it, and it's so possible. And I was sitting with you, and like Chloe was in her room, like asleep, and we were like on our couch, and I was just like so scared because I just wanted to be with you. And I was like, that's like that would be like the worst thing that could happen. And then I'm not going to give it away, but then they flipped the script, and it was just a bunch of magic mumbo jumbo. And I was like, are you joking me? Like you had an amazing plot, and you just like, let me sprinkle in some just random garbage. And then she still liked it because she liked
I like magical stuff.
she likes magical stuff, but I was so disappointed because of like how hard it hit.
They should
like,
have just kept it as it is.
It was so
though.
good as it was, like to just leave it at that, and like that was amazing.
Yeah, I'm surprised that like they threw that out. They threw that almost like they had. They should have
had
done that
nothing
if they
else.
had no ideas, but they already had a great idea.
It was such a good. It was such
It's
a
like
good
just
arc.
maybe they just couldn't wrap it up or something.
I think they were going there, and they just literally forgot what they were doing, and like maybe hired all new people, and they couldn't come up with a new plot line on time to hit their recording dates, and they just
Yeah.
said screw it, throw in magic. And then like our writers are really good at fiction, but they're not good at like sci-fi, so like let's just let it ride. I don't know, but it was not the best deal for me. I was really disappointed in that season, but it was terrifying.
It is terrifying. I don't like end of the world movies and stuff usually.
No, because they're too real.
Mm-hmm.
Too real.
By the way, if you have not noticed, I have not gotten jazzy this whole episode. I have not hit the jazz cabbage because I have been trying to bring more meaning back into it. So I did take a hit or two before. And before this episode, I posted on my Instagram that I was asking other jazz cabbage connoisseurs if they like what they do as their ritual for intaking the jazz cabbage. And one of them, Emilio, they said, I have actually been adding intention and thought to my bowls, and more of it, like you've mentioned, kind of like a ritual. As I like good thoughts come in, and as I breathe out, I release negative energy, and I feel better mentally and subconsciously, and it helps me connect with my flower I preciously burn. And I was like, I love that so much. Like that was the answer that I was like, yes, that's what I needed, like putting more intention into it. And I still want to do more. Like I like how you were saying, like I could have a piece for this certain time, and like when I want to do this sort of activity, I can use my crystal pipe, or if I want to do like a bath time, you know, maybe it's a joint every time I do the bath, you know, like different ways of inhaling. And then I do want to also
Different strokes for different tokes.
different strokes for different toes.
You know how they say like different strokes for like different folks? It's like
Yeah.
different strokes for different tokes.
Yeah,
And it's like a thing.
I like that.
I like it.
Man, I was going somewhere and then.
I'm so sorry.
No, I want you to interject, but I got to get better at remembering what I was talking about.
Oh, babe, that's like me to a T. There's no way.
It's okay. But yeah, I want to. Oh, and I was going to say that I do want to decrease the amount of jazz cabbage I intake too throughout the day. Like I went a whole 6 hours today without intaking it.
Nice.
And because like I didn't need it. I keep trying to like, before I want to go do it, I'm like, do I want to be jazzy for this activity? Like I like, for example, like, do I need another hit right before I go to sleep? Like, what's the point of me being super jazzy while I'm sleeping? Like, if I'm already to the point where I can go to sleep, why do I need it? I'm about to, lay down and watch him work out for 3 hours. Do I really want to be jazzy for that? I don't need to be. I'm already chill. Mm-hmm. So I didn't do it. So yeah, I'm catching myself more with that.
And that's really good because you're giving your body and your mind this space to be at peace within itself with nothing.
Yeah.
And so that allows you to say, okay, when I'm in this mode, I can really have a lot of introspection into how I feel, into how I breathe, why I'm intaking things is, because you're not doing it to just be numb and like high and just out of it all the time and use it as like a crutch to get through life. You're using it as an aid station, and that's definitely a more positive way to do it, as you move forward. And by giving that appreciation to it, it means so much more.
Definitely.
Right. So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's one thing too, right? Like you were saying with the cheers, I got so distracted getting into it when you were talking. I didn't know if you brought it up, but I was like, I always thought it was so cool when people were doing a shot, right? You could say like at a wedding for the groom, you say, may your children have wealthy fathers and beautiful mothers, right? Mm-hmm. Or rather, you wouldn't have fathers and mothers. You'd have father and mother, but.
Oh, yeah.
That would make sense. But, that would be a good cheers. And nobody does that for cannabis. No one has like a cool, like little anecdote story that is fun, And so I just use ChatGPT and it's like, may we get what we want, maybe we get what we need, but may we never get what we deserve. It's kind of like, hey, we're troublemakers, we're having fun, But you could come up with a bunch of these, right?
Yeah, I want them to be funny. Like I loved Beer Man Stan. I have to probably go back and find some of his clips because his were good and funny and stuff. So I want to be. I like the nice ones too. That we have to do some inspirational ones, and then I want to mix funny ones too that make people like, what? Like, what did you say?
Here's to staying positive and testing negative.
Oh my God. That's a good one. I really like that one. Here's to staying positive and testing negative. Freaking love that.
And then you cheers your joint or whatever.
Heck yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that's
Oh
good.
my gosh, the second one. Here's to our wives and girlfriends. May they never meet. Oh my god!
I've heard that one before. I didn't want to say it because we're we're a wholesome channel.
Well, yeah, but we could still be funny.
Yeah, we could be funny. Are we funny?
We're secure enough to be funny.
Yeah, we're funny.
If
we have to tell people we're funny, are we funny?
Yeah,
we are. Okay,
I think that makes it more funny.
Does it make it more funny?
I laugh at our content. So.
Okay.
Comment if you laugh at our content. I want us to wrap this up because we still haven't had dinner and it's almost 9 p.m.
It is.
And we've been on for a good 33 minutes now.
33 minutes, yeah.
These make it longer. Who knows? Because when I look at podcasts, they're like 2.5 hours. But I also forget that they're not every day.
Yeah, they're doing once a week or once every 2 weeks. And so it's like to have 2.5 hours worth of talking content every 2 weeks. I mean, that just obviously makes more sense, right? Because you'd have topics that you've been planning for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you'd be like watching stuff and like discussing. And
I mean, we obviously could talk for like 2 hours, but to do that every day?
We could, to do it every day would be a stretch.
That'd be
like
crazy,
30 minutes a day, 40 minutes a day, some days 15. That's an acceptable amount people would want to listen to for like daily content.
Right.
And it might get to a point where they want 2-hour content and there's just so many episodes of 2-hour content.
Because eventually we want to do segments and comments and all of that. So
and then guest segments.
Yeah, and we want those to be longer.
And we want to get games. We want to get events. Like we want this to be something special that like brings our audience into the mix. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like if we had an event where it's like people got together.
Yeah, we'll be planning more and stuff.
There's a lot. It's a lot.
All right, let's end our podcast with our boisterous laugh.
So we do a boisterous laugh chant for the people who don't know. And so we're just going to let out one big guffaw yourself. Guffaw yourself. Go laugh, people.
Go laugh. Go love.
Go have fun. Be merry.
And catch you next time.
Take care.
Bye. Love you. See you later.